Welcome to episode 14 of our weekly video podcast. Today, we're diving into the eligibility criteria for supported living services. We'll explore the specific requirements, including income, disability, and other factors, to help you understand how to access these essential services. Stay tuned and enjoy.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into something today that, might be on a lot of people's minds. Eligibility for supported living services.
Yeah.
You might be thinking about this for yourself or for a family member,
right,
or a loved one, or maybe you're just curious about how this all works.
Absolutely.
So we're going to break it all down.
Yeah, it's something that really needs more attention than it gets.
Okay.
We're talking about programs that can really help people live more independently in their lives when they need that extra support.
So before we get into who's eligible and all that, can you paint a picture for us of what kind of things do these services actually help with?
So think about it this way. Imagine if you needed help with everyday tasks. Things that a lot of us take for granted, like cooking or cleaning, managing medications, maybe even just getting around. Supported living services can step in and provide that assistance. And sometimes it's even more than that. Sometimes it's about connecting people with medical care or offering social support so they're not isolated.
Yeah.
It really runs the gamut.
So it's not just about physical help.
Right.
It's about creating a whole support system.
Exactly.
To empower people to thrive.
Exactly. And to figure out if you're eligible for these services,
there
are three main things to think about.
Okay.
Income, disability, and then we'll get into a few other program-specific things too.
Okay, cool. Let's unpack those.
Yeah.
So income first, what do we need to know?
Well, think of it like this.
Okay.
A lot of these programs have a salary cap.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
It changes depending on where you live and the specific program.
Oh, interesting.
So for example, in California, the income limit for one program could be $30,000 a year. But in Texas, that same program might only allow people making up to $25,000.
So even if you think you make too much, it's worth checking.
Absolutely.
Because it varies so widely.
Always good to do your research and see what's out there. So that's income. Now let's talk about the second big one, disability.
Okay.
You typically need to have a documented disability or health condition that makes it hard to live on your own.
When you say documented, what does that actually look like?
Great question.
Okay.
We're talking about thorough medical assessments done by qualified professionals. Imagine someone has a chronic illness, like severe arthritis that makes it really hard to do daily tasks on their own.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe someone has a mental health condition like anxiety.
Yeah.
That makes it tough to use public transit or hold a job by themselves.
Right.
Those are the kinds of situations where these services can really help.
So you're connecting the medical assessment to the impact it has on their life.
Exactly. And the documentation helps paint a clear picture of what support is needed.
Okay, so we talked about income, we talked about disability.
Right.
What about those other program-specific things you mentioned?
Oh, yeah. So those can be all over the place. I mean, these programs can look very different depending on who they're meant to serve.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like age, for example.
Okay.
Some programs are only for seniors and they focus on, helping them manage meds or getting to appointments or even just providing companionship so they're not isolated.
Right.
Then you have programs for young adults who are just finishing school and they might need help with job training or developing life skills.
So there's a lot of specialization within supported living to address different needs and ages.
It's all about finding the right fit.
Okay.
And then you also have residency requirements.
Oh, yeah.
Some programs might say you have to live in a certain area for a certain amount of time before you qualify, 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
Usually this is tied to funding and how things are set up in that region.
It sounds like there is a lot to consider.
Yeah, it can be a lot.
No wonder people get overwhelmed trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, it can definitely feel that way. And that's why places like Medicarehub Limited are so valuable. They help people understand it all and find the right programs for them.
So if someone's listening and feeling lost, Medicarehub or a local agency that specializes in this would be a good place to start.
Definitely, they can provide that one-on-one guidance and help you navigate all the different eligibility rules.
Okay, so we've covered the basics.
Yeah.
The big three: income, disability, and some of those other program-specific requirements.
Right.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just checking those boxes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So what happens once someone actually qualifies?
Right.
What does that support look like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, that's where the real magic of supported living comes in.
Yeah.
It's not just about forms and checklists. It's about making sure the services actually fit each person's needs and their goals.
So it's not one size fits all.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Let's say someone loves art, but their disability makes it hard to get to a studio or use certain materials. Well-supported living could mean finding transportation for them, or adapting their tools,
Yeah.
or even finding a personal assistant who gets their creative process.
That's amazing.
Right.
It really shows how these services can open up opportunities that might have seemed impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or think about someone who really wants to work but needs help learning job skills or navigating a workplace.
Okay.
Supported living could be job coaching or help with their resume,
Yeah.
or even support right there on the job to make sure they succeed.
So it's about empowering people to not just survive,
Right.
but to actually thrive and chase their passion.
Exactly. And a big part of that is choice and control. This isn't about telling people what to do. It's about working with them,
Yeah.
understanding their goals, respecting their choices,
Yeah.
and making a plan that matches what they want their life to look like.
That makes so much sense.
It's about partnering with people, not taking over their lives.
Right. And that partnership extends to their families too, right?
Well, absolutely.
Like their loved ones.
Yeah. A lot of times supported living involves educating and supporting families.
Okay.
So they can be part of the journey.
Huh.
It's all about building a strong support network around the individual.
So it's a holistic approach.
Exactly.
Considering not just the person's needs, but also their social and family life.
Precisely. And this all brings us back to independence.
Okay.
It's not just about being physically independent.
Yeah.
It's about having the power to make your own choices, to chase your dreams, to live a life that's meaningful to you.
So it's about creating opportunities for self-determination.
Yes,
Even when someone needs help in other areas.
exactly. And that's where the expertise of these local agencies
Okay.
and these support specialists is so crucial.
Yeah.
They can help figure out what each person needs, connect them with the right programs, and advocate for their rights.
So it's like having a whole team of experts in your corner,
Exactly.
helping you navigate the system and make the best choices.
They guide you through it all and make sure you have the info and support you need to make those choices.
It seems like a lot of this comes down to personalized support.
Absolutely.
Right.
Supported living is not one size fits all.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that every single person is different with their own strengths and challenges and dreams.
Right.
And the goal is to tailor the services to each person.
Yeah.
So they can be as independent as possible and live their best life.
So for someone listening who's thinking about supported living services
Yeah.
for themselves or someone they care about,
Right.
what would you say is the most important thing to keep in mind?
Honestly, I'd say don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh.
Reach out to local agencies or disability groups. Organizations like Medicarehub Limited,
Yeah.
they're there to answer your questions and connect you with the resources that can actually make a difference.
It's about taking that first step,
Exactly.
even if it feels overwhelming.
Yeah, just knowing your options opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah, that's so true.
And remember,
Yeah.
you don't have to do this alone. There's a whole network of support out there ready to help every step of the way.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah, and it brings us to another important point.
Okay.
Qualifying for these services is just the beginning. The real work starts when you actually access those services and start building a life that you really want.
It's about moving past the paperwork
Yeah,
and into actually living your life.
exactly. Supported living is about so much more than just meeting your basic needs.
Yeah.
It's about belonging and purpose and joy.
It's about having a life that is full of meaning
Yes.
and connection,
Yes.
no matter what challenges you might be facing.
And I think that is really the heart of what supported living is all about. Empowering people to live their lives to the fullest, surrounded by a community that supports them.
It's inspiring to hear how supported living can be so much more than just practical assistance.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's about purpose
Yeah.
and belonging, which are essential for everyone, really.
I completely agree. And, we talk about independence as if it's this solo thing.
Right.
But the reality is we all need each other.
Yeah.
We thrive in communities. Supported living recognizes that and creates ways for people to contribute their talents, even when they need support in other areas.
So it's about focusing on what's possible.
Exactly.
Not on limitations.
Everyone has something unique to offer.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where everyone felt valued and supported, where we celebrate our differences.
Yeah.
And everyone has a chance to live a meaningful life.
Yeah.
That's the kind of world supported living can help create.
It's a beautiful vision.
Yeah.
And it feels like we've only scratched the surface of this topic.
Absolutely. There's so much more to explore.
Yeah.
And I hope our listeners will keep exploring.
Yeah.
Reach out to local organizations, talk to people who have experience with supported living. Read stories, read articles. The more you learn, the better you'll be able to advocate for yourself or for others.
You mentioned earlier that eligibility is just the first step.
Right.
What advice would you give to someone who's qualified for supported living, but doesn't know what to do next?
I would say embrace the journey.
Yeah.
This is your chance to create a life that really reflects who you are and what you want. Don't be afraid to dream big, set goals, and seek out the support you need to make it happen.
So be proactive, ask questions, and get creative in figuring out what works best for you.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to ask for help.
Right.
There are people out there who are passionate about supporting you on this journey.
It sounds like partnership and collaboration are key themes in everything we've talked about today.
They really are.
Yeah.
Supported living isn't about dependence. It's about interdependence. Recognizing that we all need help sometimes.
Yeah.
And that we can create a better world for everyone by working together.
That's a powerful message, and one that I hope our listeners will take to heart.
Me too. And if you're feeling inspired to learn more, remember places like Medicarehub Limited are a great place to start.
Yeah.
They can help you navigate all different services and connect you with the support you need.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into supported living services today.
Yeah.
It's been really eye-opening.
Absolutely.
And I hope our listeners feel empowered
Me too.
to take action, whether it's for themselves or for someone they care about.
Information is power.
Yeah.
And by understanding the possibilities, we can create a more inclusive and supportive world for everyone.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Yes.
and keep believing in the power of human connection.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. It's not just about forms and checklists. It's about tailoring those services to fit each person's needs and goals.
So not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Not at all. Let's say someone is really passionate about art,
Okay.
but their disability makes it hard to get to a studio or handle certain materials.
Yeah.
Supported living could mean arranging transportation for them, adapting tools, or even finding a personal assistant who understands their creative process.
That's a fantastic example.
Right.
Yeah. It highlights how these services can really open doors to opportunities that might have seemed out of reach before.
Exactly. Or consider someone who dreams of working but needs help building job skills or navigating the workplace.
Okay.
Supported living could involve things like job coaching, resume building, interview prep, or even on-the-job support to ensure they succeed.
It sounds like it's about empowering people to not just survive,
Right.
but to really thrive and pursue their passions.
Exactly. And a key part of that is choice and control.
Okay.
Supported living is about working with individuals, not dictating to them.
Right.
It's about understanding their goals, respecting their preferences, and creating a plan that aligns with their vision of a good life.
That makes so much sense. It's about partnering with people, not taking over their lives.
Right. And that partnership extends to families and loved ones, too.
Yeah.
Supported living services often involve educating and supporting families.
Okay.
So they can be active participants in the process. It's about building a strong support network around the individual.
It sounds like a very holistic approach, considering not just the individual's needs, but also their social and familial context.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the idea of independence.
Okay.
It's not just about physical autonomy.
Right.
It's about having the agency to make choices, pursue dreams,
Wow.
live a life that is meaningful and fulfilling.
It's about creating opportunities for self-determination, even when someone needs support in certain areas of their life.
Yes, and that's where the expertise of local agencies and support specialists is crucial.
Okay.
They can help assess individual needs, connect people with the right programs, advocate for their rights and access to resources.
It's like having a team of experts in your corner helping you navigate the system and make informed choices.
Precisely. They can guide individuals and families through the often complex world of disability services, ensuring they have the information and support they need to make empowered decisions.
Sounds like a lot of what we've been talking about boils down to this idea of personalized support.
Absolutely. Supported living is not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
It's about recognizing that everyone is unique with their own set of strengths, challenges, and aspirations.
Yeah.
And the goal is to tailor services in a way that maximizes independence and empowers individuals to live their best lives.
So for anyone listening who might be considering supported living services, either for themselves or someone they care about, what would you say is the most important thing to keep in mind?
I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out to local agencies, disability advocacy groups, organizations like Medicarehub Limited. They're there to provide guidance, answer your questions, and connect you with the resources that can make a real difference.
It's about taking that first step, even if it feels daunting.
Exactly.
Because knowing your options is the key to unlocking possibility.
Exactly. And remember, the journey to independence is not a solo mission. There's a whole network of support out there ready to help you every step of the way.
That's such a reassuring thought. Knowing you don't have to navigate this alone can be incredibly empowering.
Absolutely. And it brings us to another important point. Eligibility is just the beginning. The real work starts once you've accessed those services and begin building a life that reflects your values and goals.
It's about moving beyond the paperwork and into the realm of possibilities, right?
Exactly. Supported living is about so much more than just meeting basic needs. It's about fostering a sense of belonging, purpose, and joy.
It's about creating a life that is rich with meaning and connection, regardless of the challenges someone might face.
And that, I think, is the heart and soul of what supported living is all about. It's about empowering individuals to live their lives to the fullest, surrounded by a community that supports and celebrates their unique journey.
Yeah, it really is inspiring to hear how supported living can be about so much more than just, practical assistance. Like, it's really about that sense of purpose.
It is.
And belonging.
Absolutely.
And like you said, those are essential for everyone.
We often talk about independence as if it's this solitary pursuit.
Right.
But in reality, we all thrive in community. Supported living recognizes that, that interconnectedness and creates opportunities for people to contribute their talents and passions even when they need support in other areas.
Right. So it's about shifting the focus from limitations to possibilities.
Exactly.
Like recognizing that everyone has something to offer.
Absolutely. Imagine a world where everyone felt valued and supported, where differences are celebrated, and where everyone has the chance to live a life that's meaningful to them.
Supported living can play a powerful role in creating that kind of society.
It's a beautiful vision, and it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
We have. There's so much more to explore.
I encourage our listeners to continue that exploration.
Reach out to local organizations, connect with people who have experience with supported living, read stories articles. The more you learn, the more empowered you'll be to advocate for yourself or for others.
Speaking of empowerment, you mentioned earlier that eligibility is just the first step.
Right.
What advice would you give to someone who has qualified but isn't sure what to do next?
I would say embrace the journey. This is your chance to create a life that truly reflects who you are and what you want to achieve. Don't be afraid to dream big, set ambitious goals, and seek out the support you need to make those dreams a reality.
So it's about being proactive, asking questions.
Yes.
And getting creative, figuring out what works for you. Exactly. And remember, it's okay to ask for help along the way. There are dedicated professionals and organizations who are passionate about supporting people on this journey.
That sense of partnership and collaboration seems to be a recurring theme.
It is supported. Living isn't about dependence, it's about interdependence. It's about recognizing that we all need support at different times in our lives, and that by working together, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
That's a powerful message, and one that I hope our listeners will take away from today's deep dive.
Me too. And if you're feeling inspired to learn more, remember that resources like Medicarehub Limited are a great place to start. They can help you navigate the world of disability services and connect you with the support you need.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive on supported living services.
It does.
It's been a really enlightening conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
And I hope our listeners feel empowered to take action, whether it's for themselves or for someone they care about.
Information is power, and by understanding the possibilities, we can create a more inclusive and supportive world for everyone.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of human connection.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're all in this together.
Thanks for tuning in. To learn more about our services, please visit medicarehub.co.uk.